From Washington, this is VOA News. Coming up, the latest on the Ebola outbreak. North Korea releases American detained for months. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Norman. Tens of thousands of people in West Africa are expected to begin receiving experimental Ebola vaccines from January, according to the World Health Organization. Paule Kieny is WHO Assistant Director General for Health Systems and Innovation.
These trials will incorporate the largest number of volunteers and will be very important in terms of determining both the safety and the immunogenicity. And these data are absolutely crucial to allow decision-making on what dose level should go in the efficacy testing in Africa.
Meantime, Cuban doctors departing for West Africa to combat Ebola say they consider themselves lucky. One of the doctors, Leonardo Fernandez, explained why so many of his colleagues are willing to undertake the risky mission. He said more than 15,000 Cuban professionals have expressed their willingness to participate. He said, "We've been trained in the values of medical ethics to help with everything that we can in any part of the world." Some 165 Cuban doctors and nurses have already arrived in Sierra Leone. Another 91 left Cuba Tuesday for 6-month missions, with 53 destined for Liberia, 38 going to Guinea. No causes yet have been reported of those cases in Latin America or the Caribbean, but the virus has reached the United States as well as Spain. Ebola outbreak, which began in March, has killed 1,446 out of 9,191 cases in Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. North Korea has abruptly freed U.S. citizen Jeffrey Fowle, one of 3 Americans detained by the reclusive nation, but Pyongyang continues to hold the other 2 in custody. U.S. officials announced Tuesday that Fowle left North Korea and is headed home. Fowle, who arrived in North Korea on a tourist visa, was arrested earlier this year after leaving a Bible in a North Korean restaurant and bar. He was never put on trial, and his family has denied charges that he traveled to the country on a church-related mission. Fowle spoke with the Associated Press before leaving North Korea.
Happens. I apologize to the people, government of the United States, as well as to the people and government of the DPRK. It's a headache for them, too.
U.S. officials welcomed Fowle's release, but State Department spokeswoman Marie Harf said there is continued concern about 2 Americans who remain in custody, Kenneth Bay and Matthew Miller, and again called on the DPRK to immediately release them. Hong Kong student protesters were expressing disappointment about talks with government officials, saying authorities failed to address their main concerns on Tuesday. Hong Kong Federation of Students leader Lester Shum says he is shocked that the government is still asking the students to accept Beijing's outline for holding elections in 2017. In her opening statement, Chief Secretary Carrie Lam asked student leaders to disperse from their 3-week-old protest, calling them divisive and an impediment to constitutional dialogue. Syrian Kurdish leaders are pushing back on Turkey's plan to allow Iraqi Kurdish forces to transit Turkish territory to fight the Islamic State militants in the Syrian town of Kobani. Jamie Detmer reports.
Middle East politics is notoriously complex, and among the most Byzantine involves the Kurdish political parties who vie for top dog status and compete for the loyalty of all Kurds across Turkey, Iraq, Syria and Iran. That competition appears to be coming to a head following Turkish officials announcing Monday they would allow Iraqi Kurds to cross Turkey to support the Syrian Kurdish city of Kobani. Now in its fifth week of a siege by militants of the Islamic State, some analysts argue the arrival of Peshmerga forces in Kobani would be a game changer. But Syrian Kurdish leaders are now pushing back on the Turkish idea, saying it is not a done deal and they should have been consulted before the announcement. Jamie Detmer, VOA News, Surrock.
U.S. Commerce Secretary Penny Pritzker says American and Japanese negotiators are making progress on the Trans-Pacific Partnership free trade deal.
That's the latest world news from VOA.